Thank you, Police Lieutenant Murtha, on the bagpipes. Please remain standing. I would now like to invite Tom Ronayne, our Director of Veteran Services and Navy veteran, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Please face our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would please remain standing for just a moment to remember all of those who have served and all of those who currently serve under this great flag. Thank you.
Again, please remain standing as Suffolk resident Kimora Taylor leads us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Can we please have another hand for Lieutenant Murtha, Tom Ronayne, and Kimora Taylor. Thank you all. Please be seated. Good morning, and again, thank you, Kimora, for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. I would also like to thank our Health Commissioner, Dr. Gregson Pickett, for opening up our ceremony with a medley of jazz. And Suffolk County Police Lieutenant, again, Sean Murtha on the bagpipes. Thank you. Again, my name is John Kamen, Deputy County Executive. I would like to recognize some officials who are here today. First and foremost, of course, we have Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone and Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. Of course, our Medal of Freedom recipients, Father Alexander Karlutzis, Suffolk County Medal of Freedom recipient, and Dr. Sandra Lindsay, Nassau County Medal of Freedom recipient. We have Xanthi Karlutzis, Father Alex's wife. Welcome. Also, Xanthi Lazarakis, Father Alex's granddaughter. Leo Palladino, Father Alex's grandson. Maxine Carrington, Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer at Northwell Health, Dr. Lindsay's mentor. Tom Ronayne, Director of Suffolk County Veteran Services Agency. Dr. Gregson Pickett, Suffolk County Health Commissioner. Kimora Taylor, our national anthem singer. And we have some of our legislators, our Minority Leader Jason Richburg, Legislator Dominic Thorne, Legislator Jim Mazzarella, and Legislator Manny Esteban. Thank you all for attending. Today, both Suffolk and Nassau County have come together to recognize two Long Islanders who are recipients of the President's Medal of Freedom. The two Long Islanders, Father Alexander Karlutzis of Southampton and Dr. Sandra Lindsay of Port Washington were awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Joe Biden on July 7th, 2022. Presented to individuals who have made exemplary contributions to our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is the nation's highest civilian honor. Long Island has a long-standing reputation of innovation and excellence, and we are honored to now recognize these individuals as well. This hits home, especially for me as former North Hempstead Town Supervisor, who is from Nassau County and has served in Nassau County, and now serving as Deputy County Executive in Suffolk County. We have an honoree from Port Washington and North Hempstead, and an honoree from Suffolk. So I am blessed to have a connection to both. So thank you both for how you've served our various communities, both of our counties. And thank you both for your extraordinary contributions to all the communities that you serve. It is now my pleasure to introduce Xanthi Lazarakis, Father Alex's granddaughter, to say a few words. Xanthi was with her grandfather when he received the call from President Joe Biden, informing him that he would receive the Medal of Freedom. Xanthi.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name's Xanthi Lazarakis, as you just heard. I once had a woman say to me that it must be hard having a grandfather who wasn't around very often. I was fortunate enough to tell her how very wrong she was. This is due to the fact that for most of my life, I've had the absolute privilege of not only living with my wonderful parents, but also with the best grandparents that anyone could ask for. From a young age, my papu has taught me to express my opinion, but more importantly, to be educated on the subject at hand before speaking on it. Every morning, I would run upstairs to my grandparents' bedroom and snuggle up with them to watch the news of the day and then discuss with them. My grandfather has cultivated my love of politics, literature, and Hellenic culture. Through his work in religious freedom and with the Greek American community and on the Church St. Nicholas at Ground Zero, he has also taught me more about loving community in addition to being on time and hardworking and committed than I could possibly put into words. At the core of my grandfather, though, is a man who loves his family and, of course, my Yaya Xanthi more than anything. He has set example in not only in the way his 10 grandchildren and many nieces and nephews should lead their lives, but also how they should care and love for their families. My papu and I have continued to swap books and opinions by the fireplace or in the car when he gives me rides places. It was in the car with my 4 friends in the back seat and me in the passenger seat that he got a call from President Biden. There was noise coming over the car saying, "Hello, Father Alex?" My grandfather and I both recognized the voice. My papu said, "Hello, Mr. President," and my friends went dead silent and their jaws dropped to the floor. The president then asked about my yaya, who was sick at the time, saying to have heard it through Washington gossip. Then he said, "You know, although I love speaking to you, that's not the only reason I called. I don't know if anybody told you, but on July 7th, I will be awarding you the Presidential Medal of Freedom." I leaned over the center console, gave him a hug, and whispered "Axios," which means worthy, and we almost got in a car crash because of that. After my grandfather, in shock, thanked the president told my grandfather that he loved and respected him and loved speaking to him. The phone call ended, and the entire car erupted in congratulations. I had the honor of watching my grandfather receive the medal, and it was pure joy to watch and realize just how much my papu deserved that medal, although he won't say that to you, so I will. With all that being said, it is my absolute joy to introduce you to my personal hero and inspiration, my papu, Father Alexander Karloutis.
Thank you, Xanthi. What an incredible American story that the President of the United States can give an American a call to recognize their value and worth to our country. Thank you, Xanthi, for sharing that story. I would now like to invite up to the podium Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone in order to make a special presentation to our father, Alex.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you. That is a very tough act to follow, Xanthi. I'm going to have to talk to our team about reordering the schedule in the future. And I can tell you this, if I was in that car with you, my jaw would have dropped as well. I've been in elected office for 26 years. I've never gotten a call from the president like that, and I'm not expecting one anytime soon. So that is incredible, and your words were beautiful. And I can only imagine what it feels like to see your granddaughter up in front of a podium speaking about her grandparents. It must be an incredible feeling. You did a wonderful job. I'm honored to be making the formal presentation today to Father Carlutzis, humbly known to all as Father Alex. My colleague in Nassau, of course, I welcome you and all of my colleagues in the legislature who are here today, but County Executive Blakeman will be joining me shortly in the presentation. And I'll proudly join him as he makes the formal presentation to Dr. Lindsay. Congratulations to you, Dr. Lindsay. You've made us all proud. But first, let me say that we are incredibly grateful that all of you are here to honor these two extraordinary individuals from Long Island. This is a great Long Island celebration, and certainly, Dr. Lindsay, your work and the work of all nurses during the COVID pandemic was extraordinary and something we will never forget and always be grateful for. Thank you. Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, Father Alex, rose from a simple parish priest to become an advisor to presidents and one of the highest ranking and most influential members of the Greek Orthodox Church. But to me and to all who know him, as I said, he is simply referred to as Father Alex. That is because at his core, he is a man of deep humility and extraordinary grace. He believes in the intrinsic worth and dignity of all human beings, and he will counsel and comfort you all the same, whether you're the President of the United States or a member of the local parish, or even if you're county executive. And I can attest to that, and I thank him for that. Father Alex has spent a lifetime of service to God and all of God's children. And through it all, he's been blessed to have by his side a person of great wisdom and strength, his wife, Presbytera Xanthi Carlutzis. Together they have built what Father Alex, I know, regards as his most important legacy, his beautiful family, his children and his grandchildren. Father Alex and his family are always there to help when there is a need, and we saw that once again during the COVID-19 pandemic. They opened their church to become a vaccine clinic and administered more than 10,000 vaccines at a time when people were frightened and anxious. They entered Father Alex's church, people of all different faiths and backgrounds, to find hope and comfort. This is what he has done his whole life. Bring people together, celebrating our differences while seeing the common humanity that we all share. He is the living embodiment of the American creed, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. I'll now ask County Executive Blakeman if he can join me at the podium. Father Alex, today we are proud to recognize you for your lifetime of service to our region, the state, and the nation, and for all that you have done to make our world a better place. Long Island takes great pride in your achievement as a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and that is why both Suffolk County and Nassau County have officially declared Tuesday, July 19th, 2022, as Father Alex Carlutzis Day across Long Island forevermore. Congratulations, Father Alex, and please join us at the podium.
That's a great honor.
And as we present the proclamations to Father Alex on the side here, I'll ask Deputy County Executive Kamen if he can read the citation, the official Presidential of Freedom citation.
Thank you, County Executive. I will now read the Presidential Medal of Freedom citation for Father Alex. The former Vicar General of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, Father Alexander Carlutzis, is a humble servant of God and the embodiment of the ancient idea that binds two great nations and democracy. Through more than 50 years of service with moral clarity, love of family, and pride in the great American community, the man known simply as Father Alex to presidents and parishioners alike inspires us to believe in the power of the people.
Father Alex, congratulations.
Well, I used to be a humble servant. Sandra and I were honored together with other 15 great people. And when you think about those moments, it's the greatness of America. And it really comes down to God's amazing grace for each and every one of us. We came from different lands, diverse traditions, but we were blessed to come to the United States of America. And so when Steve Ballone, my very good friend, said we were going to meet with Bruce Blakeman, a very good friend, and had come to the Hamptons as well, I said, isn't that a great concept to bring together Suffolk and Nassau? And Sandra represents the best of the healing services of our communities, and that's what we're supposed to be doing as neighbors, healing each other, not hating each other. And I was moved, and I turned to my wife, because my wife always says, Alex, say no to these honors, and we've said no to honors, not because of arrogance, but because we are doing what everybody else does in this great country, trying to live the American dream, honoring our neighbors, honoring the tradition of our parents, who gave us a legacy of life and opportunity, the American dream. That's why when the president spoke about possibilities, it's for each and every one of us, and we should be sharing that. So years ago, I had the opportunity of getting the blessing from 3 popes, but one I enjoyed very much was Pope John Paul II. And he said something here about the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church. You know, I kidded with the president about how do you do your cross? But he said, the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church are the 2 lungs of the same body. When I think about Long Island, Suffolk, and Nassau, we are 2 lungs of the same body. When we're together, Long Island is strong. When Long Island is strong, New York is strong. When New York is strong, the United States of America is strong. Let us celebrate the United States of America. Common sense people find common ground. And it says here, freedom and independence. So let us thank our troops that put their lives and their limbs on behalf of each and every one of us so we can be free and independent. God bless America, God bless our troops, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Alex, for those words of inspiration. I would now like to invite Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer of Northwell Health, Maxine Carrington, to say a few words on behalf of Nassau's Medal of Freedom recipient, Dr. Sandra Lindsay.
How do you follow Axios? Not sure, but I'll do my best. And I have to chuckle. There are some members here of the Northwell Health team who asked if this would now be a Northwell holiday. I cannot guarantee that, but we'll do our best. So good morning, everyone. And on behalf of our CEO, Michael Dowling, and our 80,000 team members, we also refer to them as health raisers. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and for having me to represent our great organization. And thank you also to County Executive Ballone and County Executive Blakeman. This is a wonderful day for Long Island, a wonderful day for Northwell, a wonderful day for health, and for those of us who count ourselves as health raisers. Also, congratulations to Father Alex. I think just a few moments of being in your presence, you can sense your courage. You talk about this idea that this is what everyone else does. That's not true. Everyone doesn't do what the two of you have done in the way that you have done it, and so humbly. So thank you for that. And of course, I'm here to support my friend and colleague, Sandra Lindsay, and to celebrate her leadership. Sandra, I do hope you know, and Michael wanted me to say this, that your hard work and your commitment means so much to Northwell and to all of Long Island. So let me say a few words. We've been on a journey over these last couple of years, as you can imagine, and you all lived through it with us. So even before COVID vaccines were approved for emergency use authorization, Sandra, you were talking about how much you wanted that day to come, when you could be part of the healing that we needed. You and your critical care team at LIJ, Long Island Jewish Medical Center, saw firsthand the damage the virus was doing. You and your team held the hands of patients who fell ill when their family could not be there alongside them. Day after long and dangerous day, and with no playbook for how to treat this virus, you persevered, and you are here. That says so much. Not only did you have hope that a way out of COVID might come, but when it did, you embraced it. You embraced it publicly during a contentious time for this country. That wasn't an easy step to take, given how much hesitancy there was, and we were all living through it, as we were just talking about earlier. And given how politicized medicine and vaccines had unfortunately become. That did not deter you. And after you received your vaccine, you were bravely willing to become an advocate for vaccination and for science and for health, which helped us roll out a wider reaching vaccination program, and which would have an impact on the entire country, and I would also say the world. Even children looked up to you for inspiration when their time for vaccinations came. Your willingness to come forward when asked, to be present when we all needed hope, was nothing short of courageous and inspiring, being the first, Sandra. That took courage. At Northwell, we talk about raising health, making a conscious effort to look at all the ways we might improve health at the individual and community level. And so you represent that, you embody that. We are so grateful. You also represent Axios. That's my new term, by the way. I'm gonna steal that, get a t-shirt, hashtag it, all of it. And it's meant so much for you, for us, that you have been a leader in that work. And so we're grateful also to Long Island's leaders and all of you for being partners in helping us do this. And so congrats again, Sandra, and thank you also, Father Alex. On behalf of Northwell Health and our 80,000 plus health raisers, we thank you, we celebrate you, and we are incredibly forever grateful for you. Thank you.
Please be seated. How wonderful is the symmetry between Nassau and Suffolk County today. Long Island is truly represented. And having both leaders here, the leaders of the people of each of these counties, to present awards or the honor to citizens of their county, of our island, of our country. I would now like to invite County Executive Bruce Blakeman to come up to do his presentation to Dr. Sandra Lindsay.
Thank you, John and Maxine. Thank you for putting into perspective what this award means to people across our country. I want to thank Steve Ballone for hosting us here today. He's a great friend. He's a mentor. I'm older than you, but you're kind of an older brother because you're the senior county executive here. I feel fortunate for you that you're term limited out because I think Zandy would make an excellent county executive candidate. I'm going to tell Jesse Garcia to get to her first. But let me first say, Father Alex and I met a number of years ago through our mutual friend, John Katzmatidis. And Father Alex is somebody who has always been a spiritual beacon for all Long Islanders. And that's important because today we're honoring medicine and spirituality. And they're equally as important because as we know, when we went through the coronavirus, there was so much uncertainty. People didn't know what to expect. And at a time when we were virtually a nation in quarantine, people were worried. And we needed that spirituality to get us through that. And we also needed courage. We needed people who would stand up and say, you know what? This is something completely new. We've never had a vaccine come to the public in that short a time as we did during the coronavirus. And there was a lot of uncertainty. As Maxine said, people were questioning whether or not enough research had been done. But Sandra decided she was going to step up to the plate, and she demonstrated tremendous courage, as did so many nurses and doctors, and even people who worked as janitors in our healthcare facilities and showed up to work every single day at a time that it seems like a distant memory now. People were dying, people were getting seriously ill, and they showed up for work. And you stood up for the call to be the first in America to take the vaccine. It gave people the feeling that, you know what? There is an end to this. There is hope. And I just want to congratulate you. You have had a stellar career as a healthcare provider, 27 years as a nurse, two master's degrees, and you also now have a doctorate degree. So you can tell your fellow medical doctors that you're a doctor now too, because my sister's a nurse and she tells me all the time, we run the hospital, not the doctors. But again, it was extraordinary courage. And we want to thank you for that courage because, again, it gave us a sense of hope that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. So I am very happy to join with my good friend Steve Ballone in making this a Long Island honor for both of you. And I know that this isn't as fancy or as exciting as the White House.
Next best thing.
But I want you to think about this.
This is family.
Right. This is home. This is home. And we're so proud of both of you. So with that, Dr. Sandra Lindsay, I want to congratulate you and ask you to please come up and join with County Executive Ballone for the reading of the Presidential Medal of Honor, Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States.
Thank you, County Executive Blakeman. I will now read the Presidential Medal of Freedom citation for Dr. Sandra Lindsay. An immigrant from Jamaica, Sandra Lindsay is a nurse in Queens, New York, and the first American to be vaccinated against COVID-19 outside of clinical trials. At the height of the pandemic, she directed a team of nurses as they worked tirelessly to save patients while risking their own lives. When the COVID-19 vaccine became available, she was a ray of light in our nation's dark hour and continues to champion vaccinations and mental health for healthcare workers. She represents the best of the United States of America. I would now like to invite recipient Nassau County Medal of Freedom recipient, Dr. Sandra Lindsay, to say a few words. Thank you, Doctor.
Good morning, distinguished guests, county legislators. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'd like to specially acknowledge Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone for hosting us all here today. Thank you also to Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. A special thanks to my critical care division staff and leadership team at Long Island Jewish Medical Center, my nurse manager, Robert Jose, who leads the SICU Surgical Intensive Care Unit, is here to support me today. And also to my fellow patient care directors, one of whom is here today, Diane Ryan, thank you for coming, who are here to support and celebrate with me today. Without your support, I could not manage the division. I'm so grateful to you. I'd also like to welcome and extend my thank you to other members of my Northwell family. Maxine, as you heard from, my brother Garfield is here today, and Matt Labasi, who you've always been by my side, Matt, and I can't thank you enough. Maxine is our health system's senior vice president, our chief people officer, also my friend and mentor. Maxine, it's so wonderful to have your support, the support of our Northwell Health leadership team, and all 80,000 plus health raisers. I'd also like to congratulate Father Alex, my new friend and family. Over the weekend, I had the pleasure of spending my Saturday afternoon with Father Alex's family at their place in Southampton. It felt so much like family. You will always and forever be my family. Thank you. Father Alex, I'm so honored and humbled to have received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in the same class of recipients as you. The White House has said, we represent the power of possibilities and embody the soul of the nation, hard work, perseverance, and faith. It has been an amazing whirlwind to be surrounded by so many accomplished people, civil rights leaders and Olympic athletes, political and religious leaders, educators, and actors. We've been fortunate to find our voices on some of the country's most pressing issues. And it's a reminder to me that the Medal of Freedom and today's proclamation, for that matter, are not born from individual accomplishments. For me, they mark the resilience and bravery that all healthcare workers showed during the earliest, darkest days of the COVID-19 pandemic. And now that our role is being recognized, it's important to shine a light on the challenges we still face. We need to promote meaningful discussions about stressors we face, like mental health, student loan debt, so we can fully focus on healing, on the healing that we do, and the healing that as healthcare workers we so need. President Biden took me aside before awarding me the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He recalled the death of his son, Beau Biden, and said that Beau's doctors tried hard to save his life, but it was the nurses, I repeat, it was the nurses by Beau's side who acted, and I quote, as angels on this earth, who gave him the will to fight cancer. In addition to being by our patient's side, we healthcare workers and nurses in particular have more fighting to do. For example, we need to look closely at health equity, women's health, and access to high-quality care in communities that are underserved and underrepresented. Addressing that agenda will take a lot, but with energy and heart and knowledge and training and care and compassion that we all have, I look forward to doing that with my fellow healthcare workers with the same commitment we showed during the pandemic. Thank you again for recognizing our work and for this tremendous honor.
Today is an indication, and we're going to stay standing for a moment, today is an indication that we can come together as Americans and look at our diversity and look at the depth of who we are. Look how individuals within our communities, those who run the governments, those who serve, those who live in communities can stand together and share the values that they bring and make us better as a community and as a country. And so on behalf of both county executives, County Executive Ballone and County Executive Blakeman, I would like to thank all of you and certainly our recipients of the Medal of Freedom for being who you are, doing what you've done, and being part of who we are today, because together we will be stronger and we will be better. Please remain standing as Lieutenant Murtha closes us out with God Bless America. You may stick around afterwards and we will have some photos and further discussion. Lieutenant Murtha.